Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking all about permanent hair removal. Today I want to get straight into the video. We're not messing around today. We're gonna bash up this topic. We're gonna kill it. We're all gonna learn today. So we're gonna start by going over 3 different types of permanent hair removal and how they work. Then we're gonna put those 3 in order of price and affordability. Then we're gonna go over why I feel like you should start your transition with permanent facial hair removal, and that will be it. And you can kind of use all that information to decide what is best for you regarding like pricing and what you're after. Alright, so straight into the first type of hair removal. We are talking about laser hair removal. So basically how the laser machine works is it uses a light, and that light energy is then converted into heat energy, which then gets the hair. Now the way that the machine does this is it targets the melanin in your hair, so the color and the pigment in your hair. This light energy then becomes heat energy, which does the damage to your hair follicle. Once the hair follicle is healed, it should have shrunk down, which means that the new hair growth doesn't have as much space to grow, which means that it is a lot thinner, softer, and it takes a bit longer for it to grow. After completing all the sessions necessary, you should have quite a significant difference based on what my beautician has told me, what other people have told me, and based on my own research. I have found that your hair isn't completely gone. Usually it'll just get to a point where it's very thin and soft, so it's not actually gone, it's still there. You still will have fluff, or you might still have hair that grows, but it might take, instead of like a week of hair growth, it might take like 6 months to 12 months. So those problem areas still might be able to grow hair, especially if you have quite thick, coarse hair like myself. This method probably won't be a permanent solution for you because it just takes way too long to get that kind of permanent result, and even then your hair still has that capability to come back. Next we are going to be talking about IPL. IPL is very similar to laser. IPL is like laser's really sexy hot cousin. Machine use does work a little bit different, and because of this you tend to get better results quicker and more pain-free. The best way to explain IPL is that it is a lot more catered to the individual, whereas laser is just the one laser and that's the only option you have. With IPL, your beautician or your laser person should go through your different skin type, what your hair type is, the color of your skin, the color of your hair, and then they will choose a filter that goes onto the light. That is what is zapping you. IPL tends to work really well on people with really pale skin and dark hair like myself. And the reason for this is that it works similar to the way that laser works, that it targets the pigment in your hair to create heat and then damage the follicle. IPL stands for intense pulse light. So the IPL machine works a lot more off of a light beam rather than a laser beam. Something really important to note with both of these methods that I've mentioned is that because they target pigment and color in the hair to create that heat, it is ineffective on white hair. So if you have grey hairs in your facial hair area or wherever your problem area is that you are trying to permanently remove that hair, both laser and IPL won't affect those hairs particularly. Now we are on to the third and final method, which is electrolysis. I haven't personally had electrolysis, but through my research for this video and just for myself, it is the best option if you're looking to permanently remove your hair. The machine used for electrolysis kind of looks like a pen with a little like needle poking at the end of it. So basically the specialist will insert that into the hair follicle using the natural opening in the skin, and then it pumps either light energy or a chemical straight into the hair follicle, and it destroys the growth center. Then the hair that is left in the hair shaft is just removed with tweezers and it never comes back. So unlike the other 2 methods, which are applied to the surface of your skin and then basically burn the edges of your hair shaft to make it thinner and thinner and thinner, this method goes directly down to the growth source and destroys that, so your hair does not grow at all. Now you do still have to go for quite a few return visits. This is because it's impossible to do every single hair in one session, especially if it's a large area. Another reason you'll have to return a few times is because of your natural growth cycle. Electrolysis, along with the other 2 methods, all have to be done at a certain stage of hair growth or the hair can come back. Here's an example of the hair growth cycle simplified. The best time for any of these methods is the anagen stage, and this is because the hair is still attached to the blood flow. Because each individual hair is at different stages of the growth cycle, you'll find that even though your beautician has done a perfect job on getting 100% of the problem area, you'll still have hairs that come back because those hairs were in the catagen or telogen stage of growth, and the hair wasn't attached to the follicle, and the new hair has already started to grow. Although laser and IPL aren't permanent solutions, they do make electrolysis a whole lot less uncomfortable. It's recommended to do a few sessions of IPL or laser before you're doing your electrolysis, especially if you have thicker, coarser hair. And this is just basically because hair removal hurts a lot more on darker and thicker hair. Now when I say it hurts, it's not like unbearable pain, it's more of like a little flick, and for me personally, it's more the anxiety of like knowing what's coming. So don't worry too much about that. You can get numbing creams that are very effective, and you can get those over the counter at the pharmacy. As you get more and more sessions, it hurts less and less and less because there's less hair there. Okay, now on to pricing. Dollars. Now all three of these can vary in price, but generally how it goes is that laser is the cheapest, IPL is then a little bit more expensive, and then electrolysis is your most expensive option. This is just based off of individual sessions. So if you are having to go to IPL for 2 years compared to getting electrolysis done for 1 year, obviously electrolysis will be cheaper in the long run, but it really depends on what result you're wanting and what you do. Obviously the cost side of this can have a really big impact on how soon and how often you can have these sessions. Pretty much everything about transitioning is really expensive, so this can all be really overwhelming. There's just so much that happens, especially right at the beginning. It can be really overwhelming, but I promise 100% if you put this as your #1 priority to start with, you will not regret it. HRT and laser hair removal are what I think are the two things you should absolutely focus on at the beginning. Those are two things that are going to take quite a long time for you to see a result. So starting as soon as you can is really, I think, important for your mental health, and to make sure that dysphoria isn't always in the back of your mind. If it is a cost issue for you and you just really want to get started, I know that franchises like laser clinics do little package deals where you buy a bunch of sessions in one go and you get it at a much cheaper price. Anyway, that's a wrap for this video. Thank you so much for making it to the end if you did. I really hope this video helped you to gain a lot more information on this topic. Obviously throughout this video I have given you my own advice and my own opinions on what I think maybe you should do, but obviously just use this information how you want, do what you want to do and what you feel like is going to be best for you and your transition, because at the end of the day everyone's transition is different and very personal. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Make sure to check out my playlist on different tips and tricks for trans girls. Thank you for watching.